Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 189. Jim Farley is out saying that UAW is pushing Ford for bankruptcy. And the big three automakers in the US are all cutting jobs. And Volkswagen is also cutting jobs, but in Germany, and shutting down one factory altogether. And Volkswagen's head of worker council said, "It's already the perfect storm that we are heading into." And the UK Prime Minister wants to delay the ban of new sales of ICE cars. And the Cybertruck reservations supposedly have passed 2 million. No wonder why Jim Farley is afraid of this beast that will be released into the world in October. And ex-CEO Linda shared a video to show the future potential and what X, the Everything app, is aiming for. And now even the mighty Toyota is copying Tesla's production method. What a time we are living in. All of this and much more on today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
We hear that Volkswagen is cutting employees at the Zwickau factory. The factory Volkswagen spent $1.2 billion retooling to be an EV factory. They will now slow the production down of this factory. Not a good sign for Volkswagen. But the Volkswagen Group is also planning to stop car production at its Dresden plant altogether after more than 20 years. Automobile Woche, a sister publication to Automotive News Europe, reported. The plant, where 6,500 of the electric ID.3 were produced last year, will continue to operate in some capacity, and its roughly 300 workers will get other tasks. As Alex Voigt and Jan from Tesla Fix explained at our little Tesla talk show this week, talking about the condition of the European auto industry, they taught us that you can't really just fire people in Germany, so they have to find other jobs for the one they have actually employed. So that is why the 300 people will just get other jobs. And why Volkswagen have 2,000 permanent employees at the Zwickau factory out of the 10,000 people working there, and have 8,000 contract workers at that factory that they can actually fire. So Volkswagen is trying the best they can to be flexible in production with the laws set in place in Germany. And Volkswagen is seeing lower demand for their EVs than they have supply for. Even though they are still far from Tesla's level of EV production, Volkswagen actually seeing some trouble getting them all sold. This stands in very big contrast to Tesla, that is just powering towards having the #1 best-selling car in Europe in August. Tesla Model Y appears to finish August as Europe's best-selling car, taking the crown for the 5th time in 8 months. Powered by a 189% rise in volume, Tesla sold 19,725 Model Ys during August, based on primarily figures from the market researcher Dataforce. The Tesla Model Y rebound in August means that the premium midsize crossover has claimed the #1 spot in the race to be Europe's overall top seller from the Dacia Sandero. Through 8 months, the Model Y leads the Sandero with 153,191 to 148,080 units, according to Dataforce. And remember, the Dacia cost about half than what the Model Y does. This is so impressive, and a good showcase that Tesla does not have a demand problem, but an affordability problem, just as Elon said. So many people are stretching up to get a Model Y. Just wait until Tesla releases the next-gen model in Europe. It will simply just explode in sales. Tesla will not be able to make that one fast enough. But the advantage for the Model Y is likely to grow in September, as Tesla historically has had its strongest sales during the final month of a financial quarter. If the Model Y's success continues, it would become the first premium SUV, the first fully electric model, and the first Tesla to finish the year as Europe's best-selling car. The Model 3 only tried to be the best-selling car in some months, but never took the crown for the whole year, but the Model Y is very likely to do exactly that. Also beating old favorites and bestsellers like Volkswagen's Golf. Tesla continues to grow at an insane fast pace while Volkswagen is forced to slow down their EV production as they don't see enough demand. So probably going to be a very close race in the last quarter here if Volkswagen Group continues to slow down and Tesla continues to speed up. Also with the new refreshed Model 3 probably taking some new demand in the last quarter. Maybe Tesla will not only be the best-selling EV brand in Europe, they might get even close on taking the crown from Volkswagen as the best-selling group, even though Tesla is just a brand. Very, very impressive. And at the same time, we see that Tesla Berlin factory is producing at its all-time high with about 5,600 units a week in the backyard of the German automakers. And with Tesla's version 12 full self-driving, that is just driving using neural net and collecting data from their fleet of 5 million vehicles and their big Dojo computer, is all just more evidence of what we already know. The future of the EV industry largely rests on Tesla's innovation, all driven by a confusing market force, leaving the US economy at a crossroad and leading to billionaires like Warren Buffett to start dumping their stocks in bulk and looking for alternative investment to weather this volatility. But does he know something you don't? Well, the good news is you can do the same with my long-term sponsor Masterwork, who are offering an asset that billionaires allocate 5% of their portfolio to: blue chip fine art. And if you're still on the fence, it is not too late. There is still a chance to invest in Masterworks' latest Jean-Miguel Basquet's piece. Public auction data shows works similar to it appreciated in value by over 22% from 26 to 2022. And Masterworks now have over 800,000 people on the platform and thousands more are waiting to sign up. But you have a chance to skip that waiting list by using my link down below and get started today. And a big thanks to Masterwork for sponsoring this video. The ban on new sales of internal combustion engine cars and vans from 2030 in the UK has been scrapped, the Prime Minister has announced. And he wants to delay the ban for 2035 like many other European countries. But no wonder, as many politicians don't seem to understand much about electric cars, as the Conservative Member of Parliament think all EV batteries loses 50% of its capacity after 5 to 8 years.
Second-hand market, and why would there be when most battery lives are halving by the time they get to 5, 6, 7, 8 years old?
Yeah.
The economics just don't work out, and my constituents are never likely to be able to afford a 40, 50, 60, 70,000 brand new battery electric vehicle, and they're certainly not going to be looking at buying a second-hand one either, I would say.
This might be some of the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time, as Tesla has all the data and have shown us this is not true, and we have Teslas still on the road that are more than a decade old. And I personally have a Tesla Model 3 that is 4.5 years old and has done over 165,000 kilometers and has only a battery degradation of 10%. What is this clown talking about? He clearly don't know what he is talking about, which is very scary and quite embarrassing. But the delay of the ban will not slow down EV adoption. They can try all they want to, but even the former Vice President of the US, Al Gore, said the decision from the Prime Minister was wrong and really disappointing.
Well, first of all, I'm not a citizen of the United Kingdom, and it will be for the people of the UK to decide how to react to this. But I will say on a personal basis, I find it shocking and really disappointing, of course. I think he's done the wrong thing. I've heard from many of my friends in the UK, including a lot of Conservative Party members, by the way, who have used the phrase utter disgust. And some of the young people there feel as if their generation's been stabbed in the back. I mean, it's really shocking to me. But the fossil fuel companies have used their wealth and influence and political connections to slow things down, and they fight tooth and nail against anything that would reduce the burning of oil and gas and coal. And they're much better at capturing politicians than they are at capturing emissions. And you can sometimes tell when they've captured one.
And as Fairchild posted on X, Andrew Marr, an LBC presenter, took the trouble to come to the Fully Charged live show, you know, the Stopping Burning Stuff event, and ask questions about electric cars. But as they wrote, shame the Prime Minister isn't so interested in understanding this technology. Even though EV has really taken off in the UK over the last couple of years, today there is an EV sold every 60 seconds in the UK. So to see the UK politician talk about EVs like nobody wants them really only shows us how little they are keeping up with what is actually going on, as BEV shot up 102% year over year just in August in the European market, with a record of 21.7% market share. This is the first time it passed the 20% market share milestone. Year to date, BEV sales are up 54% and have a 15.1% market share. In my country, Tesla is heading to become the best-selling car brand of any kind, a trophy Volkswagen has held for the last decade. But EVs and Tesla is taking over. So just very embarrassing hearing politicians not getting it, and Volkswagen talking about EV demand slowdown, but it's up 102%, and Model Y, you know, the electric vehicle, is year to date the best-selling car overall in Europe. But Toyota has a target of 17% BEVs in 2030. China is way past that already today, and Europe has just passed the 20% market share in August. Yeah, the legacy automakers are in huge trouble, and our politicians are in for a big surprise. And the fight with the UAW continues in the US, pushing the big three automakers closer to bankruptcy. But Sean suddenly started firing shot at Tesla and Elon Musk in the middle of it all.
Most of these workers in those companies are scraping to get by so that greedy CEOs and greedy people like Elon Musk can build more rocket ships and shoot themselves in outer space. And that's unacceptable.
But of course, Tesla's workers is not union workers. But for him to take it out on Elon and Tesla is just such a dick move. Elon doesn't even take a paycheck from Tesla. And no, it is not Elon Musk that builds rocket to shoot himself out in space. You're thinking of Jeff Bezos there, Sean. And if it is so great to be in a union, why is it that the union workers' paycheck has been standing still for the last 10 years, as you were saying? Shouldn't you have been helping them to get a better paycheck through the years and not just come out now and saying they have been unfair paid for the last 10 years. Anyway, I also think Sean here forgets that Tesla employees are better paid than the union workers and also get stock compensation. So the UAW have definitely not been doing their job very well. And now, when the pressure is at its all-time high for the legacy automakers because of the very expensive shift to EVs, they think it's time to ask for more. No wonder Jim Farley said to CNBC, "You want us to choose bankruptcy over supporting our workers." Yes, it's definitely the wrong time to be pushing the big boys in the US. That is something the UAW should have done through the last 10 years, not just come out now saying the union workers have been screwed over the past 10 years. If Ford goes bankrupt, there won't be any paycheck at all. This could spell even bigger trouble for the US automakers and put them in an even worse position to fight against Tesla. But Ford and GM have already offered a 20% rise in pay, but this is not good enough for the UAW. The union is seeking up to 40% hourly pay increases and a 32-hour, 4-day work week. This is kind of insane. They might deserve a 40% increase in paycheck, I don't know. But in my opinion, is that not what the UAW should have made sure happened gradually over the past 10 years? And a 32-hour work week. That means that they will have to employ even more workers, increasing the cost of production at a time where they're desperately trying to cut costs, as Ford will lose about $4.5 billion this year on producing EVs. And they will definitely not be able to ever catch up to someone like Tesla. And we are seeing some consequences of this strike already taking place. General Motors announced that they will laying off 2,000 workers and is idling a manufacturing plant in Kansas due to the UAW strike, and GM added it cannot provide supplemental unemployment benefits due to the specific circumstance of the situation. And last Friday, Ford also laid off 600 employees in Wayne. This will end very bad for the old guys, no matter the outcome. If the UAW gets their way, the old guys will have a big disadvantage compared to Tesla, and the cost of running their business will suffer, which they can't afford. In the end, the consumer will be the one paying for all of this, as Ford and GM likely will just increase the prices of their vehicles to have a decent profits, which could even further push customers over to Tesla's vehicles, as they have a starting price already under the US average selling price of a car. And then we take the true cost of ownership into calculation, and it simply just doesn't make sense to buy an expensive ICE vehicles anymore. So yeah, the big boys were already in trouble, but now they're getting cut off by the knees. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this new show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts. And Wall Street Journal reported that Saudi Arabia is in early talks with Tesla to set up a manufacturing facility in the kingdom. But Elon quickly reported, saying, yet another utterly false article from Wall Street Journal. Ouch. But the Turkish president asked Tesla CEO to build a vehicle factory in Turkey, according to the country's communication directory, as Elon also visited them this week. Yes, everyone is pulling in Elon and Tesla to get them to build a factory in their country. And we also saw another world leader visiting the Tesla factory, getting a tour by Elon Musk himself. And the Israeli Prime Minister was very impressed with the factory, saying this is the future, and thanking Elon for spending all his time, not just showing him around, but for mankind. Yeah, most leaders around the world get what Elon is doing, and Elon gave him a ride in the Cybertruck, and we also could see the ambient light inside the Cybertruck again, like Tesla has made for the refreshed Model 3, so it seems this will be a future the Cybertruck will get. And Elon posted on X just how much bigger reach someone like Carlson has on X instead of Fox News. 3 million against 265 million. As Elon wrote, giant different, no matter how you count it. And it's only for the niche market, they said. But according to the reservation tracker on the Cybertruck Owners Club, the pre-orders of the Cybertruck should have passed 2 million. The most pre-ordered vehicle in history. What are people not getting? This will be an insanely successful vehicle, and one of the reasons why everything else look like each other. Very boring, but the Cybertruck looks like nothing else. It is anything but boring. And you have probably heard it many times before about an EV. What if you get stuck on the side of a road? You can't just go for a tank of gas to fill it up. No, you don't even have to. As the Tesla guy wrote on X, my sister got the Tesla down to 0 miles with 10 miles to go. We tow charged it for 2 or 3 miles and got it up to 15 miles of range, and I was able to drive it home. Yeah, I've never seen that before, but that is actually very cool and only something you can do with an EV. Filling up the tank by just towing it. Nice. And we did see the Tesla full self-driving software do some amazing things this week, and doing things a little better than the humans driving next to it or even in it. As Guri shared on X, was on full self-driving and my Tesla Model Y wouldn't go on green. Pressed the accelerator, it would barely move. Finally, it just freaked out and slammed the brake. AEB saved us from a serious crash. Thanks. As you can see, there was a car running a red light, and it seems like the Tesla knew it was coming too fast and therefore wouldn't go. But the human forced it until it had to brake completely not to get into an accident. Nice job, Tesla. And we also saw this video where the full self-driving spotted an ambulance, but the humans next to it didn't. Australia's biggest bank is partnering up with Tesla to offer personal and business loans at a discount rate on Tesla's website. Commonwealth Bank personal leading general manager Joel Larson said the partnership was designed to help more Australians realize the benefits of electric vehicles. We are seeing really strong demand from customers. Almost 1 in 6 of our new car loans are on electric, he said. Overwhelmingly, customers are choosing Teslas, which is why it makes a lot of sense for us to partner. And Volvo's last diesel-powered car will roll off already next year as the Swedish or Chinese automakers look towards an all-electric future. As one of the first legacy automakers to do so, Volvo is rapidly transitioning its lineup with a full slate of EVs. Diesel will die very soon in Europe anyway, as new diesel-powered vehicle sales have fallen from 50% share of Europe's total car sales in 2015 to just 14% here in July. So as Volvo have said before, so instead of investing in a shrinking business, we are choosing to invest in the future. Electric. Yes, a legacy automakers that is not confusing their customers with hydrogen or e-fuel. ICE cars have a place for many years to come and blah 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 blah. No, as Volvo said back in 2021, there is no long-term future for cars with internal combustion engine. Henry Green said. Nice name, and nice to see Volvo killing off diesel completely next year. And I got up close and personal with the refreshed Model 3 this week, as Tesla invited me to come and check it out. So if you haven't seen that video yet, you should definitely go check that one out, as this car is more than just your normal refresh from the legacy automakers. This is practically a new car, with 50% of the components being new. This Model 3 has less in common with the original Model 3 than the Model Y had compared to the original Model 3, as they shared 75% of the same components, as Elon told us at the unveiling. I will leave a link to that video down below. And Larry Ellison spoke at the Oracle Cloud World 2023 and talked a lot about AI, but showed off their next generation police vehicle. And this was inevitable, right? The Cybertruck is just a perfect police car, as we have talked about before, but also because, as Larry said, they can use the existing cameras on the vehicle and the huge screen in the middle that they usually have to add on afterwards. But Tesla's Cybertruck has it all, and Tesla will no doubt be able to help with the software getting that to be a part of the system in the car. So very cool. And of course the Cybertruck is fast and safe, as he said, and don't forget, bulletproof to a 9mm handgun. This will become the preferred police car around the world. But Larry also said this.
And coming soon, and very soon, in the next 12 months, complete self-driving cars from Tesla.
So it's not just Elon that is optimistic about full self-driving anymore. Larry also thinks Tesla is within 12 months from having a full self-driving car. Sounds good to me. And solar don't work in the north, they said. Well, here is a solar farm and battery storage system installed on Svalbard, the Norwegian island, just south of the North Pole. It is to run the Icefjord, a radio station and weather station, and now also a hotel for tourists and researchers. The solar and battery storage will reduce the emission at Icefjord Radio by 70%. Before the renewables showed up, close to 200,000 liters of diesel were used at Icefjord Radio annually. So from 200,000 down to 60,000 liters just because of this solar farm. They hope to install wind projects there as well, as during the winter Svalbard gets no sun. But more testing of wind turbines in the Arctic is still needed before they can install them. But this is a pilot project for off-grid communities in the Arctic. Very nice. And Linda, ex-CEO, shared a video X has created to show the future potential and what X, the Everything app, is aiming for. And yes, that looks awesome. The future of X is certainly bright, as Linda wrote. Link to the full video down below. But Elon also shared on X, long-form posts on this platform are now at 3 billion views per day and rising. This is roughly on par with all newspaper articles' views on Earth. But Elon doesn't know anything about running a social platform. He should just stick to EVs and rockets. Yeah, right. And don't forget that Moomoo is having a special deal in September, so don't miss this one. The September reward will give you up to 16 free stocks, including shares of Tesla and Google, if you sign up to Moomoo online trading platform using my link down below. So don't miss this opportunity. Only available in September, so the time is running out. Link down below. And according to Alex, Volkswagen's top managers discussed in a non-public meeting return targets and cost-cutting programs. As Volkswagen's head of worker council, Cavallo, said, "It's already the perfect storm here that we are entering into. Currently, we are experiencing the calm before this storm. When the storm breaks, dear board member, we need all hands on deck. That's when we need a team performance the likes of which Volkswagen has never seen in a long time." Yep, it is not looking good for Volkswagen, as their pace is just too slow. For them to first try to react on this now is insane. Remember, Alex wrote an article 5 years ago called All Hands on Deck that was published in 2018. If the old guys would just listen. But as I talked about with Alex and Jan about a week ago, the Germans are locked in the German bureaucracy and culture. They will not be able to make the moves necessary. Remember, they already held 2 big meetings about how to keep up with Tesla, and all that talk should have come out in the form of the Trinity platform and the new factory, but this has now been delayed, and so is the revolutionary factory that was supposed to build it. And now they have just entered the perfect storm. And NIO showed off their new smartphone this week. Yeah, but this phone will probably only be sold to NIO customers, so not sell very many units, so yet another unprofitable business for NIO. Don't really see the benefits for NIO doing this. Also because the phone can't really do anything the Tesla app can't. And the Tesla app actually seems to be able to do much more than NIO's phone. But hey, NIO is just doing so many other things at the moment, including battery swap station that will never become profitable business either. So they tend to make a lot of decisions that doesn't seem that smart. But NIO is looking to copy Tesla's battery pack with the 4680 cell kind of looking batteries. So NIO is trying to copy what Tesla has done, and CATL and Panasonic and most other big battery suppliers are also planning on making the 4680 cell. Yet the genius of Gordon Johnson claims that Tesla's battery is a failure. Sure, Gordon. But from one of the smallest automakers copying Tesla to one of the biggest, as Toyota will start making giga castings. Toyota mentioned that the new EV platform will have 3 main components that make up the modular structure: front, center, which houses the battery pack, and rear section. Sounds familiar? So after Toyota tear down the Model Y and called it a work of art, I guess Toyota did learn a few things and will start implementing them as fast as they can. So in 3 years' time, they will have a car in production with the new casting sometime in 2026. That is how fast Toyota is able to move. 3 years to implement gigacastings. Let's just speculate where Tesla will be in 2026. So they will not only implement new castings, they will have built a whole new factory, probably 2, if not more by then, and built the next generation vehicle in these factories, both the $25,000 version and the Robotaxi, using their unbox production method. And the next step in the evolution of the car production. But Toyota will have copied what Tesla did back in January 2021. Yeah, that some people think Toyota will be able to catch up to Tesla by copying them, don't seem to know why the pace of innovation is so important. And Africa is now making waves in the energy sector, particularly Nigeria, which is massive population and growing energy needs. As Alexis write on LinkedIn, in the photo you can see a piece of history. The first Tesla battery installed in Nigeria by our team, and one of the first in Africa. Yes, the potential for solar and battery storage in Africa are humongous. Nice to see Tesla battery storage starting to pop up there as well. And I have reported on Tesla's new train at the Berlin factory before, but I don't think many know that Tesla is actually the train operator and owns the track. The trip from Berlin to Giga Berlin is free of charge and open to everybody, regardless if you work for Tesla or not. Very nice. Tesla continues to fight the good fight Meanwhile, so-called environmentalists fight back in Germany. And all Hertz rental in the US now allows full Tesla app access. This means that you can use keyless lock and unlock via the phone, remotely precondition the cabin, track charging stations, and much, much more. And new Tesla owners can, of course, also pick up their Tesla remotely, like many are doing in my country. All without the Tesla phone. Yes, I know, Neo. It's like they're cheating. And before we end up with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my new patrons and members of this YouTube channel. My new YouTube members: Roger Ramjet, Randy Bowfinger, Morten Håkansson, Alexander Nilsson, and John Chisholm. And my new Patreon producer, Steve Chambers. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And the Supporter of the Week t-shirt is still out of stock, so I will get back to that hopefully very soon. So instead, let's end off with a bit of fun. And since we have the UAW fighting Tesla's competition for them in the US, Jan from Tesla Fix put together a little video I thought I would share with you.
A real picture?
That's
Jeez, is that true?
I have been clear with the big three. If we don't make serious progress, more locals will be called on to stand up and join the strike.
What is that actually happened?
Of course it happened. I think
Either the big three get down to business or more locals will be called on to stand up and go out on strike.
this is a reflection of how, like, just
Oh my God!
dark we've become.
Oh my
A lot of
Keep up the energy. Keep showing the companies that you are ready to join the strike if necessary.
Oh my
a lot of weird forces at odds with each other.
That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot so others can find it on YouTube. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. And don't forget, if you want to become an executive producer and get some news articles on Monday to Friday, some exclusive videos, and access to all my research charts and spreadsheets, head over to bestintesla.com and join with the members button. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible, and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.